uncoupling. These days, it seems far too many of us are experiencing the trauma and effects of family breakdown.
Yes, the end of an intimate co-parenting relationship can often feel like splitting up equals splitting you, and we may notice that our children suddenly just can't seem to get enough of us. So why do we feel so split?
Well, firstly, we're no longer one half of a double act. We're now a single parent, and that feels very different emotionally.
Yes, because when we're in love and together in a relationship, we adopt or absorb parts of the other person. So of course, when we do break up, we feel diminished and possibly halved.
Yeah, absolutely. It's as if we have lost parts of ourselves, and it feels like something is missing.
Yes, and children experience these emotions too. Remember, they are depending on us to be our strong whole self, especially when they have to adjust to be with only one parent at a time.
They may also find it hard to share with us their siblings. And as a separated parent, this can feel like we're being stretched and pulled in different directions.
And it's not always easy to be as child-focused as we might like to be. Getting some specialist support during this time is vital. And on that note, we'd like to welcome Nicola, the founding member of Kids Come First, a community interest company supporting parents at every stage of their separation or divorce process.
Kids Come First offers support and teaching workshops entirely focused on the needs of children who are experiencing the effects of family breakdown.
So welcome, Nicola. Tell us, what made you set up Kids Come First?
I've been working with separated parents for many years now, and I've listened to so many tragic accounts from parents who ended up in the family courts with their continued parental battles. And it became very clear that there are far too few therapeutic support systems for parents and too few early intervention processes that they could get specialist guidance from before things reached a very hostile situation.
So what lies at the heart of Kids Come First?
I think the principle and belief that by helping parents cope, we help indirectly, we help children cope too. We do this by offering parents a unique workshop of customised child-focused teaching in a workshop environment. And we give specialist guidance and very practical advice on how they can work more effectively towards a co-parenting relationship beyond and during the divorce process. It's quite a bespoke service which is based on need, because some parents come to us very early on in their separation and others come after being divorced for many years because they're still experiencing the same ongoing parental issues.
Okay, thank you. So Nicola, just how common is divorce these days?
What we do know is that about 52% of relationships break down these days. And in terms of divorce, there are actually approximately 106,000 divorces in the UK.
Wow. So what would you say, Nicola, is the most common separation factors? And what, in your experience, would you say leads to these breakdowns?
There are lots of separation factors. I'll give you just a few. Financial ones, such as debt, unemployment or redundancy, play a big role. Health, mental and physical, could be long-term illness, ongoing addiction issues. And then, of course, there's infidelity or issues with abandonment or neglect. And, of course, abusive behaviour, which can be physical, emotional and verbal. Often losing a loved one in your family and experiencing that bereavement can also be a bit of a final straw. And we do see quite an increase in postnatal depression as well from both parents.
So not just the mothers, it's the husbands too that can have postnatal.
Absolutely, men can also go through that process.
Wow. Okay. Well, Nicola, I've heard that there is a recent upswing in those 60s silver splitters ending relationships when they reach retirement, and there's an empty nest syndrome once children have left home. What do you make of that?
Yes, there's absolutely a surge in over 60s. I think these days there's less stigma attached to being divorced, so more and more older generation are looking to possibly find love and happiness in their relationships again.
And why not?
Why not? I think that there are lots of external factors that come into play as well. Prolonged periods of any kind of increased stress and anxiety lead very much into a relationship breakdown, and continuing to play a sort of relationship blame game, revisiting the relationship history that is negative, is a big factor in actually reaching the end of the road.
Okay, thank you. Nicola, do you know how many children are affected by family breakdown?
Well, the UK government no longer collects data on the number of children actually affected by divorce and separation, but up to about 2013, there were on average around 100,000 children per year.
Wow.
And I'm sure that's still the case.
Wow. So why is this?
Because government stats can only measure marriage and divorce, so the stats can't be accurate when you take into consideration the 40% also increase in cohabitation. What we do know, though, is that the average child experiencing divorce and separation is about roughly 7 to 9 years old, and many more younger children as well. And of course, when they find themselves in a situation where there's high parental conflict, we do see that there are an increasing number of young children actually struggling with the process from an emotional perspective.
So how do you know all this?
We have a lot of research based on community organisations. We link in with lots of child counsellors, social services and schools who tell us that they are having to deal with the increased number of young children and young people who are actually struggling to deal with the impact. And also, as family practitioners, I believe that we will see in years to come that the effect on children's life chances and the negative impact on their developmental stages into adulthood.
So Nicola, what does Kids Come First offer that is new and different from other divorce and separation services?
As I said before, bespoke service, we offer parents two different opportunities. We offer them the opportunity to come and sit in a group with other divorced and separated parents so that they can share their experiences and receive the training. But they can also book private workshops with their co-parent to come and focus exclusively on the needs of their family and their children. And of course, that's a very positive step in the early stages for their uncoupling relationship.
So how does this actually support the parent to put the child first?
Well, we're mindful that when you deal with relationship breakdown, that it's an emotional process for many people. So it's quite difficult for some parents, particularly in the early stages, to make really child-focused, rational decisions because there's so many other things to think about. So it's important that we focus them on their children, and we're very impartial in our advisory capacity, and all our objectives are to basically focus on their needs of their children.
So how do you do this, Nicola?
Kids Come First, we have a sort of a three-pronged approach. Our first, mission is to highlight for parents the behaviours and responses of children of different ages when they're going through the process. Then we like to facilitate ongoing support by signposting them to other professionals where needed. We're aiming to give them a practical toolkit for going forward. It's very future focused, so we want them to have all the tools that they can possibly have to build a very practical business-like relationship going forward with their co-parent.
So Nicola, how can separated parents assess how well they are doing for their children?
Well, we have a really good Kids Come First parenting checklist that we use, and it's a kind of best practice parenting behaviour guide. It helps parents honestly and objectively assess how well they're doing in the presence of their children and in front of the other parent, or in terms of their relationship with the other parent. I find that really useful to analyse exactly what the real parenting issues are.
If you would like a copy of Kids Come First parenting checklist, go to the link below to download it. And if there are any questions we didn't answer and you would like to have more information, why not contact Kids Come First on the link below, or leave any questions in the comments box and we will endeavour to answer them.
Absolutely. If you'd like to know more about trying to consciously uncouple with your children's interests at heart, please do go to the Kids Come First website. You can find us at www.kidscomefirstuk.co.uk for further information. We run regular workshops in Hampton, which covers the West London and Surrey area, as well as in Clapham, South West London. And we also offer our workshop material very successfully via Skype, so there is help available wherever you're based.
There is guidance on the website, and Kids Come First have very helpful advice on every single co-parenting issue with their wide variety of reference material that you can access via email.
Yes, so thank you, Nicola, for coming in today. It's been very informative, and the job you are doing is commendable.
Absolutely.
Because the reality is children do need to come first.
And we'd love to invite you back again with Psychopedia on the Couch, because separation is a very complex issue, and we're sure there is much more to discuss on behalf of the parents out there.
Well, thank you, ladies, for inviting me. It's been my absolute pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.